All right, so quite an interesting question we're asking you this morning, and I think it's got to do with an interview that we'll be having a little bit later on in the program. So what are your views on the distribution of new syringes to drug addicts? Now, it may sound like a strange question that we're asking you this morning, but the reality is that this is a project that's currently happening in Pretoria, and what's happening is that you're finding a group are basically engaging in a needle exchange program for heroin addicts, because the HIV/AIDS rate amongst addicts is shocking.
Over 50%.
There you go. And
that's really high.
Yeah.
And also not aided by that Bluetooth phenomenon. And in case you don't know what Bluetoothing is, what the drug addicts do is that someone would have a shot of whatever it is that they are taking, and another person would come take a syringe and then take the blood and try and inject that blood into their own bloodstream, hoping to get the high. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work, but I don't think most of the addicts know that they cannot get a high of someone else's blood.
Oh my goodness, all right, so there you have it. I mean, that's the question. So at the end of the day, there's an organization that's trying to assist in any way they can to bring this down by handing out needles just to try and stop people sharing them. So what do you think? Is this a good idea, or do you think, no, this is even encouraging it more? We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And you may have other solutions. Do tell us about those as well.
Okay, stories of the day, I think. Let's take a look at the big ones for this Wednesday. We've got, of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa to undertake an official working visit to Nigeria for the first time since taking over from former President Jacob Zuma in February this year.
And then the National Union of Mine Workers, they will begin talks with the gold sector companies and trying to negotiate under the auspices of the Minerals Council of South Africa.
And President Ramaphosa has extended the SIU's deadline for investigation into the SABC relating to various procurement matters and related unauthorized, irregular and wasteful expenditures incurred.
And let's take a look at the top trending topics now. And I don't want to boast.
You're basking in glory, aren't you?
I'm trying to contain myself right now.
And rightly so, and rightly so. I mean, well done. You chose them from the beginning, so you got one more match to get through before your team has officially won the World Cup.
Let me just put it out there. I'm 4-0 right now.
I know.
I mean, some victims, Benny McCarthy, Leanne Manners, Maylan Kirtley, John Gericke. Who wants to bring it on next?
I know. We're very humbled. We're very, very humbled by this. Okay, so do not ever take a bet with Sakina Kamwendo, because you will come off second best. France-Belgium. What a match it was last night. Oh, the Belgium team tried their best to get it into the goal. They just couldn't. And there you go, Mbappe, your man, is also trending. So,
as is Thierry Henry.
I mean, well, that must have been a difficult one for him, because he's the assistant coach for Belgium, right?
He is.
And, of course, he's former French player, and what a French player he was. So that's a tough one. So, yeah, I think everybody watching
bittersweet for him, I would think.
Very much so, very much so. So there you go. And Juventus, now the big story there is Cristiano Ronaldo leaving.
Yep.
To go Real Madrid to Juventus.
£99 million plus add-ons, which brings it to over 100 million, around 120 million. And this is a guy who's in the twilight of his career, so go figure.
Wow. Okay, well there you have it. So I'd love to know what happens. I mean, if you're a Cristiano Ronaldo fan, and you have always supported Real Madrid. Now he moves to Juventus. Do you have to move to Juventus as well?
See,
how does it work? I'm not a big fan of anyone.
So I will support Arsenal regardless of who the players are.
Okay.
Players come and go, but the club remains.
Okay, so you support a club, not a player.
I like players, but the club comes first.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And then, of course, on the local side, I mean, away from all the sporting story, because it was very hard to find anything other than sports. And let's not forget Serena Williams' performance yesterday at Wimbledon, because, that was a close one, but she did it, she made it. And the audience, I think, also stealing a lot of Twitter. Drake in the audience, and everyone loving the fact that he was there. And the opposite side, Justin Timberlake. And, anyway, that was another story for another day. But
Serena always brings all the boys to Wimbledon.
She does. Okay, so there you go. That's trending topics for today. Let's get to your traffic.